Hello, Gerhilde. It's great to see you. Maybe you could introduce yourself and say something about yourself and your organization to start with.
Yes, sure. My name is Gerhilde Meissl-Egghart. I've founded a charity called talkedemy about 8 years ago, together with a colleague of university. And well, yes, it's already 8 years that we've started to use Second Life for language teaching. In fact, we found a language school and did courses mainly for your universities and other institutions. We started with business English, went on with German and some other languages, but our main product, if you want, or the main thing that we repeated over and over again was a business English course where students had to work on a project to create something, for example, a machinima. And I guess this is what you're interested in.
Yes, of course, you're right. Machinima is what we are focused on in the CAMELOT project. So, what advantages do you see in creating machinima?
I think there are two ways to use them. One, of course, is to let the students create their own machinimas. And I think this is really a great way to give them a chance to express their creativity, to work on a project they consider being really cool. All those students, they love movies. Everybody wants to be a movie director, more or less. So this is really a task that engages them very much. Engaging them in doing something in a foreign language is a good thing on its own. But of course, doing a machinima, doing a film, has much more into it because they really have to write the storyboard. So they have to do some writing tasks. Then they would rehearse it. They would distribute the roles. They would say their texts over and over again, record them, listen to them, listen if the pronunciation was correct, if they are happy with the accent, with the intonation, whatever. So I think this is really an excellent way to practice language skills. For me, it's a little bit like those movies that are used by professional sports people, that they film themselves when they do certain movements and they analyze exactly those movements, how they do it over and over again, and they see how they bend the joints and how they use the dynamics of the speed and whatever. And I think making machinimas for language is pretty much like this.
That's a valuable point you made here, Gerhilde. I do believe that it's very important to analyze performance in language learning. So, what makes machinima a useful resource in your view? And how would you use machinima in the language classroom?
Yes, I mean you can use them everywhere. In a physical, the virtual classroom, you can use them at home. You can give them assignments on films that were produced during a session. I think there are many ways how to do it. What we prefer is to let students do the work, but of course, if the teacher does it, this is just another way how to use it. And I think it's also a good idea to use machinimas for documenting what was going on during a class. So you could record something and then post it on some learning management system and ask the students to watch them, to annotate it, maybe to check out what they liked, which phrases, which use of language, how they did, how their peers did. So this is just another way.
How long should the ideal machinima be, Gerhilde?
Uh, the shorter, the better. I think it's. I mean, we are all used to watch videos on the internet, and we know that everything that's longer than a minute or 3 minutes is the absolute maximum. And I think we should we should challenge ourselves to try to make the point in 1 minute, something like this. Of course, if we have a video of a whole class session, it would be longer. It really depends on the task. But in general, it should, yeah. Well, my favorite length is 1 minute, and that's it.
Do you think, Gerhilde, it would be a good idea for learners to make their own machinimas?
Yes, it would be a good thing, because, as I said before, we should try to put the heavy workload on the students and not on the teachers. Because they have the time, they have to do some assignments, they have to produce something anyway for the courses. So why don't we let them do something which they can use for maybe later on if they apply for a job in a company and they have something that they can show. I think a video is a brilliant example, and it's definitely something that we observe currently, what's going on in the business world, that more and more information is transported via videos, not only in marketing or in making commercials, but in all sorts of areas, in training, of course. I mean, of course, the legal issues are always important to observe, to make sure that you have the rights, that you have permissions to use certain spaces, that the actors, the students, whoever is on this machinima, know about it and have granted permission, things like this. Beside that, well, and of course, make it short. Don't make it too long, yes.
Are you using machinima in your virtual learning environment, Gerhilde?
Well, my organization, we have moved a bit towards the physical classroom recently, but we have taken many lessons that we've learned in the virtual classroom to the physical classroom, which is very interesting for us to see how close related those two are.
Thank you, Gerhilde, for sharing some interesting and valuable views on learning and teaching using machinima.
You're welcome, Crystal, as usual. Bye bye.